What you doing? I got Tulip in here with me. Tulips. Hi, folks. Uh, Took a shower. I've had a little bit of a cold for 2 days, and then hi, Mary Jane. And then when I went to bed last night, I felt nauseous, like sick to my stomach, but not the kind where you feel like you have to throw up. So I definitely have the flu because I'm having uh, gastrointestinal situations too with it. So I don't know. I wear a mask in my neighbor's car. I wear a mask in the store. I have surgical gloves on because you're touching so many things. I have Lysol spray that I spray the doorknobs with now because I was so sick last year with the damn flu, influenza B, I found out I had, which is worse than A. B is more extreme and lasts longer than A. But, that was to find out what I had so I could go visit my mother. But I stayed sick. I was sick for 3 weeks and then really run down after that. My daughter was sick 2 weeks, and my son was sick just about 10 days. So it's just so weird how it affects everyone differently. I don't really think this is a real bad flu. I woke up with no stomach pains or nausea feeling. And I did fill up a water bottle, which I should have done days ago. So I did that because I forgot to buy waters. But I know it's going around, and I was trying really hard not to get it. So I haven't really felt like moving around a lot. But for those of you that come over to this channel and say hi and are my friends, I found a new video last night. It's pretty much not the aftermath, but a good month later of the Crans Montana. Now, where the heck was it? Switzerland fire at the Les Constellations. Okay, that's how they say it anyway. Well, hello, Buit Than Hoing Viewable. Did you hear about the girl who abused her baby dog while on live because she got out of her cage? Are you kidding? Because she got out of her cage. She's now in jail. No, that's disgusting. Take an antihistamine, see if it helps. The weather is awful for allergies. Yeah, I don't have any antihistamine, sidekick. Um, and hello to you. Because I had a whole bunch like Benadryl and stuff, but they were really old, so I threw them out. It did start out with one sneeze. Luckily, it wasn't like the last time I was sneezing and caught a cold. And my then boyfriend Darren, who came back into my life, was like, I better drive over there and make sure you're still alive. That just took the cake. That and him being pushy with me to get better. He's 6 years younger than me, and he's not even 60. It's such a difference in life when you turn 60 and beyond. So I always thought it would feel really different in my 70s, 75 even. No, now it's probably because, I had that stress-induced heart attack a little less than a year ago. And I have had a stroke too in my thalamus. The reason I'm saying it is there's a lot of people out there, right, that are in their 80s and they feel 40. I mean, there are. That's not me. All right. So finally, I was able to, after a good half hour, trying to get the English captions on my iPad. I mean, it took a while. I was hitting auto caption, I went into settings. I even hit voice reader in accessibility, thinking, gee, maybe, just maybe, the transcript would be read out loud to me or something on this French channel. And now I can't remember the name of it. Oh, radio, television, something. And it's news, and it's in France. These families are located in France. I watched the whole thing the other night and I was like, oh my gosh. Because I've even forgotten. I've kind of forgotten, especially with all the, you know, the stuff with Ms. Guthrie going on and Savannah Guthrie and all of that. That's weird. See how it gets dark and then it gets kind of light? See, it's lighter now. Why is it doing that? I'm gonna have to go into settings. That's just so weird. Anyway, turn this light on. I feel like I'm talking to a dark person. Sneezing is your body trying to expel the allergen. Yeah, well, I hope we don't have mold in this apartment. If we do anywhere, it wouldn't surprise me. Um, but yeah, so because I look for that. You know, we've been here in these apartments for 25 years this coming April 21st. But we were in a different apartment before this one for 6 years. And now the thing froze really quick. That's weird. As far as here, we have no snow. We have no wind. It's still. It's a little chilly, but nothing too bad. I don't know what the temp is, but it's so mild. And all these other states are getting snow and blizzards, and you know what I mean? And people are actually dying from shoveling snow. So I read about it, and I'm sure most of you know, but for anyone that doesn't, that is why they make the small shovels, you know, so you can have small amounts on there. You're also supposed to take a break every 15 minutes. And these aren't people in their 80s. 55-year-old man, I believe, in New Jersey, and someone else, and now I can't remember. So that overexertion on your heart, even if you don't have a heart condition, can kill you if you overdo the shoveling and everything. So I'm going to get right to this. Thanks everyone for being here. Hello to all of you. I probably missed some names. Oh, we got Clicky1717. Hello, Grayson Stetson. Hello, I'm being kidnapped. Well, I'm doubting that, but you know. Hi, my name is Mary, says 987PL0. Hello, welcome. We got MacBain86, Allah Akbar. I'm not sure what that means, but welcome. Melissa Brady says, hoping you get better. Thank you. The RLXGIO, no, I'm not kidding. I'm not sure what you said, but oh, did you hear about the girl? Oh, no, I believe you. I believe you. That's disgusting. I hope she didn't kill the dog. She abused it. I hope it'll heal. That just makes me sick, that kind of stuff. There's no man behind me. It's just a big pillow, one of those back pillows. It says, Tidges T-Bitties. Why is there a man behind you? Okay, he-wa or something. This is what democracy looks like. Do you want me to send you some, says Sidekick? Well, I think what I'll do, that's very sweet of you, but I think my hair is drying, as you can tell. I think I'll just make sure I have some on hand. I don't know if I can really take it with my heart meds. I mean, I probably can, it's just an antihistamine, but I can read the container. But you know what? I'll write that down because that's not anything I have really thought of about myself when I start doing this sneezing. Cadence says, "Hey, gorgeous, sing for us." Well, that's very sweet, and I love to sing, but I can't even do karaoke on here. I might go ahead and see if I can get away with something like on a weekend when I'm feeling better. I really might. But even like, because I Googled it, the YouTube, uh, what is it? The TOS terms. They really frown upon even karaoke. It's kind of a bummer. Let's see. It's okay, just sing. You're so funny. I can go ahead and do the song I used to do for karaoke. Let me see if I can do it, feeling kind of not incredibly that well. I mean, I'm even drinking some electrolytes because I'm just going to say it. I lost a lot of bodily fluids last night before I went to bed. I'm trying not to mess up my makeup. So, in fact, I weighed myself today. When I weighed myself about 10 days ago, I was 120. And today, I was 114. And I am eating. I mean, I eat soup. I have toast. I had some cream cheese on bread yesterday. And then for lunch with some chips. And then for dinner, I'll have like a piece of chicken. I mean, I don't have big courses or anything because also as you get older, you're really not as hungry. Like it's really kind of bizarre. Okay. So, and I am getting older. I mean, good grief, I'll be 64 in June. I mean, I'm not looking forward to turning 65, but I shouldn't say that because if we're all going to live and continue through life, then we want to keep getting older. But yeah, here we go. I don't know if I want to show my face. I don't think I'll show it. Wait, how do I turn this darn camera off? All right, I'm going to turn it around. I'll try it once. So this is a Fleetwood Mac. See if I can remember the words. I used to sing it over on Tattooed Angel. Support, have a nurse come into your house. No, Jeopardy. I'm not that bad off. Okay. Well, oh God. Well, here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Oh, you guys, my voice just sucks. Well, who am I to bring you down? It's only right that you wrap yourself around. Oh, now I can't remember the words. Have you any? Da, 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 down. It's lonely night like a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what you had. Tulip's looking at me. Look at this. And what you lost. And what you had. Oh, what you lost. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. You'll know. You will know. You'll know. I forgot all the damn words. Let me try it again. Let's see. Well, here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to bring you down? It's only right that you wrap around your dreams. And have you any dreams you'd like to sell? It's the loneliness of a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what we had and what we lost and what we had. Oh, what we lost. Thunder only happens when you're, when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. You'll know. You will know. You'll know. Oh God, that brought back memories. All right. Trying to figure out my hair again, you guys. Okay, so that was fun once I kind of remembered the lyrics, but I used to do some shots of root beer schnapps, like 4 of them, and then get up and sing that. And I was younger and my voice wasn't scratchy, and it was a lot of fun. It's a lot easier with music in the background. All right, so thanks for everyone being here. I did that for what's his face or her face because she brought it up twice. So yeah, you know, and I'm just gonna say this because I don't want to forget. You know, prayers for poor Savannah and Cameron and Annie. I mean, you know, but I am feeling like now, Guthrie. I am feeling like, you know, the guy that they arrested, apparently his last name is Calea or something, Callea, and that's Italian. And I just, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that the son-in-law is Italian and he is. They're interviewing him. You know, he said he just found the numbers, you know, on Google or whatever, and there might be truth to that, but I think we're going to find out in the long run that there's a tie to Andy's husband. That's just what I think. Because then he could have gotten some money and maybe gotten it to the son-in-law. But this is all allegedly, and this is all, you know what I mean? Like, none of us have any clue. But, you know, before it was 50-50 for me, right? 50% a stranger, 50%. No, first I was like, oh, it's a stranger. It's a stranger. Then I was like 50-50, exactly. That it is the son-in-law or a stranger. Now I'm leaning more towards 75%. I think the son-in-law has something to do with it. Because the thing is, all the ransom notes were the same. That's what the guy said. So if that guy's in jail for 3 of them, he's from California, and he even, why would he, being from California, think about it, send it to an Arizona station? Well, I mean, obviously, I guess it's because the kidnapping happened in Arizona. But the thing is, I really think it's what possibly, allegedly, the son-in-law wanted. Yeah, very scary. I haven't heard anything new today. I don't think anyone else has. Hi, ADHD. Oh, Too Tall Rob is here. Put together a tape for me to interview for the Raccoon Dynasty Blues Brothers Band. Well, you know, I know I could sing some blues, but I don't know any of it. Joe Parzik. No, I'm talking about the person you mentioned about. I'm so confused. I have very nice shenanigans, says Bill Shaw. Thank you. Cadence says I'll rate your singing. No, please don't. Might be a hired stranger. Oh, Mary, about the thing. Might be a hired stranger. Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected the ransom notes, at least one of them, to be different. So I was listening closely to that last night. And I guess they're alarmed because she said did she say she left her charger thing like on the nightstand by her bed? I mean, that might be only something the son-in-law would know. You know, I just think they're tied into this whole thing together. There's some other people that think that too. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Please hit the like. I don't know how many I have in chat, but we're going to get to this. Now listen, I'm going to turn it up. It's got captions. It's in French. Trigger warning. They don't show any explicit videos, but you get to really see what the family's going through with this Crans-Montana Les Constellations in Switzerland fire that happened a month and a week ago. 11 with eyeballs. What is, oh, do I have 11 likes? What do I have? I have 13 likes and 9 people looking from the where are you guys? Are you guys skiing on a mountain somewhere? Okay. Also, this isn't a short video. It's not massively long or anything, but it's not short. And it took me a while to get the captions on this darn thing, didn't it, Tulip? But I didn't give up. And I kept at it, and I kept at it, and I went to settings, and I did the stupid voice reader, and then I couldn't get that off, and it was just unreal. All right. Make sure the captions are coming in.
Es ist kaum vorstellbar, dass man aus einem Moment des Feierns einfach so abstürzen kann.
Okay, you can't read it backwards, so.
Für uns existiert das Jahr 2026 nicht.
I've got to read it.
Seit der Nacht zum 31.
So I have to turn down the French. Okay, I was thinking you guys.
Es fällt uns wirklich schwer, das zu akzeptieren. Ich glaube, das gilt für alle Familien.
I was thinking you guys would be able to read it, but it's gosh darn backwards. So I turned the guy's voice down. I'm going to read it to you. Booming noise. Here we go. I believe this is in France right here. It's hard to imagine that one can simply plummet from a moment of happiness into deep abyss. For us, the year 2026 does not exist. I mean, everything has stopped since the night of the 31st. Exactly, says his son. That's his son. How is that possible? We find this really hard to accept. I believe that applies to all families. We believe there is a huge injustice, that there's a lack of everything. We are really angry about this. It's another father suffering. What kind of life is that? I've had a life since, I don't know. I've lost all sense of time. My life ended on December 31st. I don't know what day it is today. Another victim, family. I think many people will forget, maybe in a month, and think about other things. But the people who were there, who knew, the deceased or those burned, we will not get over it so easily. She survived, and she talks about her story. So I've got my copyright in, but Metz Frankreich or whatever. So that's France, apparently. I think I have German subtitles. Since January 1st, the life of the Aubrin family has come to the three of them now live in this small apartment in Metz, which has been loaned to them. Okay, close to Strasbourg. Be as close to Matthew as possible. 27 years old, intubated and unconscious. He was a waiter at the La Constellation bar, a new employee. He only started on December 15th. Look who this is. Frosted. Yes, Lawrence, there's Matthew. There's a picture of him. His hair is very short, little bit of a beard. There is an article about Matthew. He looks good there. Yes, he is beautiful. I provided several photos so that it wouldn't always be the same. He is so beautiful, so beautiful. The family of Matthew, a 27-year-old man who suffered severe burns in the fire in Crans, Montana on New Year's Eve, is launching an online fundraising campaign. He's currently being treated in a hospital in Metz. His prognosis remains critical. He suffered burns to more than 25% of his body surface. They repeated some words they had said to us this morning. Shortly before he was placed in an induced coma to recover, he was still able to talk to his parents on the phone. He told us, I couldn't try to go outside and bump into people. So I preferred to stand in a corner and wait for the end. His father, Lionel, recalls. God, that's sad. A guardian angel pulled him out. Matthew's family took turns at his bedside in the hospital in Metz. He is a person with a great zest for life. He loves life too much. He loves the party too much to leave. It is certain that he will wake up again. He has no choice. My heart, he has no choice. Oh. This came up on my feed 2 nights ago. When we look into his eyes at what they've done, there was a moment when I simply couldn't find the words. But I wanted to look at him and tell him that I was there. You could see some kind of sadness and suffering. And even today it hurts me to see him. His expression as he lies in bed, the situation is very difficult. I find it difficult to see even a hint of happiness. Matthew is a very cheerful, sunny person, someone who likes to make jokes. I've never seen him like this before. On top of the worries, there are also all the bureaucratic hurdles to overcome. They're all the more complicated because they are unfamiliar with the Swiss system, and Matthew's bosses, Jacques and Jessica, are under investigation. That's when we discovered that we actually need his employment contract and his insurance number to know what things are covered under this employment contract for care in the various Swiss hospitals. We are in contact with the Morettis. It may sound paradoxical, but we will still be contacting them. Also on the advice of our lawyer, who told us at the moment there is no reason to break off contact. Please send us the information immediately by email. So far, we have received positive feedback, which will allow us to make progress in the administration. Because as we know, there's the moment of emotions, the moment of the media, but when the administrative steamroller is set in motion, it will run you over. If you don't have the necessary reaction time to meet all the expectations of that. Whew. They speak unintelligibly, it says. They're heading to the hospital, I believe. Every day they go to the hospital in Metz to sit by Matthew's bedside. He has burns on his arms, hands, and back, but it is primarily his lungs that have been severely damaged by the toxic fumes. He is currently being prepared for possible future procedures on his right arm, particularly skin grafts. His lungs are gradually recovering. He is at the end of his second lung infection. This specialized center has taken in 4 patients from Crans-Montana. Among them was a Swiss man. The first patient was admitted on January 2nd. A quick response was necessary. Of the 6 available beds, only this one is now free. This is a typical room for patients with severe burns. So they have everything they need to monitor patients who are intubated and require ventilation. One special feature is that this room can be converted into an operating room. Each association requires 5 people: anesthesiologists, nurses, surgeons. This is an entire department specializing in highly sensitive and advanced treatments. Here I prepare the vitamins. We supplement all patients with a vitamin cocktail to ensure they don't lack anything, as most are unable to eat. We make sure they get everything they need. Riyad Alidin is a plastic surgeon. He has just undergone a 5-hour operation. Today, I had a procedure done on a face. Today, it was very delicate. It requires very careful work. It is rare for the face to be completely burned. It is important to perform these surgical procedures very quickly. Yes, definitely. Because complications, infections, and shrinkage can occur afterward. Can you perform miracles? Sometimes, he says. How important is this for families? It is important for everyone. For me, every patient is like a family member. Therefore, I try my best. I try to do my best, the maximum, so that it has fewer functional, psychological, and especially aesthetic consequences. I hope you guys can hear me okay, with a little bit of accent. 49 injured people from Crans-Montana were transferred to hospitals, including 19 Swiss citizens. Just as many families had to organize themselves at the bedside of their loved ones. Okay, Lyon Frank Reach. Also the case for the family of Xavier Mitz, who now divides his life between Sion and Lyon, where his 17-year-old son is in hospital. Jeremy had dreamed of that evening in the bar La Constellation in Crans, Montana, a place he knows well, and where his father grew up. He made it, how should I put it, a challenge. Not to ask us for the money to pay for this evening, which was quite expensive after all. If I'm not mistaken, it was 250 francs, and Jeremy signed up as a chaperone with the red caps to pay for the evening himself. This is meant to show how important this was to him. Alors, Xavier's son was admitted to the severe burns unit in Lyon on January 1st. Watch, only family members are allowed to visit him. We have enormous hope that medicine, especially here in Lyon, with the expertise that is united here, can work wonders for Jeremy. In fact, we are concerned about Jeremy's future life, that he can recover physically as well as possible. Please wait a moment while we find your conversation partner. Beep.
Veuillez patienter, nous recherchons votre correspondant.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, thank you. This is after. It is a state of constant uncertainty, depending on the treatments. Jeremy has burns on almost 20% of his body and has to undergo several transplants. This morning was very, very difficult. It's been a roller coaster. Yesterday it was much better all day long. This is a painful moment. How does one experience this as a father? Very, very difficult. We are not prepared for this, but we're trying to be strong because we have to pass the strength on to our son. We are prepared to stay here in Lyon for as long as necessary for optimal care, and then transfer him to Switzerland as soon as possible. St. Gallen. Here's another family. A life in stagnation. This is also what Elaine and Layla McLeod experienced. Her two daughters were admitted to hospital in St. Gallen. This room was immediately made available to them. For 2 weeks, they watched over their eldest daughter, who was in a coma. Sure, I could have had it better, but that doesn't interest me. I want to be 5 minutes away from my daughter. That's all I'm interested in. I would have slept on a mattress next to the door as well. If someone had told me, lie down there, I would have done it. Her second daughter, Misa, was less severely affected and was initially hospitalized in Valais, but they managed to arrange for her to come here to visit her sister. Fortunately, Elaine and Layla understand German well and can therefore communicate with the nursing staff. I hope she's doing well. Yes, I hope so. Hello, Maria. How are you? It works. And Farah? I hadn't been in the room yet. I went there this morning. She was still asleep. So it goes. Last night, she made me happy. She said goodnight to me. Buena nacht, something. I am happy, great, absolutely perfect. Should I announce that you are here? We'll go inside for a moment. Yes, let's see if it fits. I'll ask quickly. Thank you. Wow. Wow. On that New Year's Eve, her two daughters were sitting with a group of friends at a table on the ground floor of La Constellation. We are in contact with some of the mothers who are part of our daughter's friend group. Yes. Actually, her entire circle of friends is affected. Everyone. They had their table there. There were 10 of them. Everyone got it, everyone, without exception. There is no family that has been spared. I tend to think about my other friends, the other mothers who have lost their children. I have to say it because I can't think about it. I can't do it, so I think about her. They have lost their children, and that is terrible. I have her on the phone, and it's disgusting. And then there are the other mothers who have their children in Stuttgart, in Zurich, in Brussels, who have been thrown in the remotest corner of another country. Everywhere. So yes, emotionally it's tough. I didn't know I was going to have to read this. I thought it would. I forgot it comes in backwards from one iPad to the other, you guys. Saint Sulpice VD or whatever. Okay. Letitia is one of the survivors. She escaped without burns, but with trauma. She is receiving treatment from a therapist. It's important that she can talk about it. I have the feeling that it wasn't really me who experienced that. I don't really see myself in my body. I imagine the whole scene and I see myself, completely devoid of any emotions I felt at that moment, though I was there and felt them. If I tell it now, it disappears from my body, and I have no real emotions when I talk about it. I know that this is normal at the moment, but I know perfectly well that eventually everything will come out, and I will feel all the emotions that are normal in such a situation. Well cared for by our parents, they arrived at the scene of the tragedy very quickly and saw everything. I still feel a little empty, says the mother. I keep coming back here to the lake and looking at the water again and again just to try and fill the emptiness or whatever. But it's true, it's very difficult. I can't even describe it. She was with us. She even said to us, Happy New Year, kisses. And then she said, I'm going to Constel with my friends because it's very fashionable. I've never been there before. I don't know it. We were just about to leave when she called. At 1:30 a.m., she screamed. She just said, Mama! She shouted, Come quickly! And then we found her, all alone, in socks, without shoes, with disheveled hair. Like all the young people that evening, Letitia had only one wish, to go out and party. At midnight, she filmed the transition into the new year at the resort's traditional gathering. My wife and I weren't 100% in favor of him going to this party because he had a bit of a cold that day. When we talked, he said, Yes, but I still want to go out and party with my friends. So we set off and said our goodbyes that evening with a slight sense of tension. They looked stunning. They were preparing to go to Crans-Montana to celebrate New Year's Eve with their friends. They went their own way, we went ours. They called me at midnight. It was a big celebration in Crans-Montana with Happy New Year, Mom. Then we said, Happy New Year. Around midnight, we all headed back towards La Constellation to the end of the evening there. I had many friends who were already inside. At that moment, my girlfriend and I go downstairs and enter the bar, and I immediately see a friend of mine. We start talking, and then I turn around and I see the fire. I was only in the bar for 1 minute before it caught fire. We had our mobile phones switched on so they could call us to pick them up. In my mind, it was nothing. There was a fire in one head, but nobody reacted. For me, the fire was out in 15 seconds. And yet I still had the reflex to go outside, just in case or something. Only when all the smoke rose into my eyes and I could no longer breathe did I realize that it was serious. And not just a small fire. Letitia had her mobile phone in her hand. Like many others, she had reflexively started taking pictures she had kept to herself. Someone's screaming, "There's fire." There she is. Oh my God. Look how quickly and badly the smoke got, you guys. She was only down there 1 minute. Then came the whole cloud of smoke. I couldn't see anything anymore and I couldn't breathe. So I had to find my way around blindfolded. I felt my way forward and then I suddenly fell. That was the moment when people who had already been burned were lying on top of me. I knew the fire was near. That was the moment when I thought, this is the end, I'm dying. I was literally buried under the people right next to the stairs. And then when I got out, I stood on one side and just started screaming. I was really curled up on the floor. I could hear a girl crying. So I turned around, and all I saw was she was completely burned, and she looked at me and asked if everything was all right. Well, I had nothing. That's so sad, you guys. My son Jeremy managed to escape from the La Constellation bar and had the reflex to have a friend who was also outside call us. So we knew within minutes. When I realized what had happened, my wife arrived within the next hour. She arrives at the premises of the bar, which is obviously in total chaos, and is still burning. Part of the fire brigade and rescue services were already on site. My wife was able to see him and speak a couple of words to him. Jeremy simply said, "Sorry, Mom." Oh. This is making me really tired having to read all this. Layla's husband, who received a call in the middle of the night, set off to the scene of the accident. Without grasping the seriousness of the situation, he only wakes Layla up. "Honey, wake up. Something dramatic has happened." And then I opened my eyes. He said, "Listen, calm down. Everything will be all right." Misa has burns. I took her to the hospital. And we lost Farah. And when he said, "We have lost Farah," I didn't understand. I said, "Lost? What have you lost?" I didn't understand it. He said, "We have lost them. We cannot find them." So I took a deep breath and said to my husband, "Okay, we're going." He said, "To the hospital?" I said, "No, to Crans, Montana." Phone rings. "Lawrence, my wife is getting up." She takes off and I hear her speaking. I listen and hear a distorted voice, which is my son's. And then he says, I saw that there was a crowd and that I couldn't get out. I preferred to let the others move on and huddle in a corner. And then he says, I was waiting for the end. In retrospect, I think, what an ending. And I hope that this was the end of the mass movement. It's a miracle he's alive then. This kid just waited. Maybe that is why he's alive, because he didn't get trampled. I don't know. When we got to the top, we couldn't get into the zone. Everything was blocked. So we were led to the Regent. The Regent was the crisis room where all parents looked for their children. It was so loud and yet so quiet. He explains that he is in the hospital in Visp, where the rescue workers, the first responders, took him. But he tells us, either out of ignorance or what he has, or because that's just how he is, or to spare his mother and me, it's just a sunburn, just a big sunburn, his son says. Jeremy had the reflex to tell the paramedics who had taken him to the hospital to Renaz to call us. But we knew immediately that he was in Renaz. All the parents were in denial mode and above all shocked. Therefore, nobody wanted to speak to the psychologist. That's perfectly normal. We didn't understand what was happening to us. We didn't feel like speaking to a psychologist. Speaking to a psychologist meant admitting that something had happened, that our children might be dead. But we parents talked to each other. We tried to get information, who saw what and how. Well, that's it. Then comes the nightmare, the waiting, an endless wait. The tragedy occurred less than 9 hours ago. The first press conference is held in a state of shock. The judiciary, political authorities, police representatives are present. They are all returning from the scene of the tragedy. I want to make it clear that we are currently assuming it was a fire, and at no point any kind of attack. While this evening should have been a moment of celebration and togetherness, it turned into a nightmare. The preliminary toll is appalling. More than 110 injured, dozens of dead who have not been identified. Their exact number has not been announced. And then the police come and say they want to take your DNA. Imagine what it's like when a police officer comes to you and says, we've come to take your DNA. This requires that we bring your child in a box. Please excuse the expression, but that's roughly how it is. So you will take this swab and answer all the questions. They are trying to concentrate as best they can. And then you wait again until someone tells you, yes, we found them. And then it clicks in your head. Okay, alive or dead? And then they tell you, no, she's in intensive care. He was in the intensive care unit. He had already fallen asleep and was intubated. It's true that this site was very intense for me. The aim was to determine the severity of the burns in order to know which center he should be taken to. And then it became clear pretty quickly. He was immediately flown to Lyon by helicopter. I discover my daughter, who is not my daughter. That is, I discovered a burned body. A very extensive medical kit was needed because she was in a coma. I won't even tell you what kind of devices they had attached to her. We avoid scientific and medical terms. And most importantly, I immediately look at the monitors, and a nurse and I have a sister who's a doctor. Oh, she's a nurse. I know my way around. I look and see that it doesn't look good. She's a nurse, the mother, right there. So I speak to the nurse, who tries to calm me down. But she can't promise anything. Because, of course, you can't promise anything. And then they tell me, we will not keep them here. We can't keep her here. She has to go to St. Gallen. When we arrive in Zurich, it is the first day of the new year, shortly after 9 p.m. And there we see Matthew, completely wrapped up, intubated, bloated. Especially his face is very puffy. You can hardly tell it's him. Only then did we realize how serious it was. Not sunburn, but deep second-degree burns. This is called grade 2B and third-degree burns. His mother and brother were able to speak with him. I couldn't do that. I have to admit, I was devastated. This is my baby. He's a 27-year-old baby, but he'll always be my child. An international collaboration begins very quickly because beds for severe burn injuries are limited in Switzerland. Transfers abroad are beginning. Italy, Germany, France, Belgium. So many countries responded to the Swiss plea for help. I entrusted them to Felipe Lazare of Rega. I said, keep her alive. He looks at me and says, we will do everything we can, but I can't promise you anything. What happened in the basement of La Constellation is slowly coming, with these first pictures from inside the building, published by the French broadcaster. They show how sparklers set fire to the soundproofing panels on the ceiling. The third press conference begins in this context. The number of international journalists is increasing, as is the number of Swiss media representatives expecting answers, although no fatality has been formally identified at this time. The president of the government, Matthias Reynard, is gradually becoming the face of this crisis. We are aware of the particularly difficult times, the unbearable pain of every minute that passes without a reply. Everything indicates that the fire originated from sparklers or Bengal lights, which were attached to champagne bottles and held too close to the ceiling. We later learn that the conformity of the insulating foam applied by the operator was never checked by the local authorities. Far from the media frenzy, a race against time continues in hospitals to keep the injured alive. After the press conference, Matthias Reynard goes to the staff of the intensive care unit in the hospital in Sion. I think we can hardly imagine what the Valais Hospital has accomplished in the last few hours. We have the intensive care unit, the emergency room, the pediatrics department, anesthesiology. We have all the teams that were ultimately confronted with this kind of war scene. It's absolutely terrible. There are still many families who are unaware. Yes, many families, many relatives. Every minute is unbearable. Every minute spent in this uncertainty, in this doubt. It's terrible not to know where your child is, where your little brother, your little sister, your friend is. I have spoken with the families. I have already visited them twice. We have no answers to their questions that are so legitimate. Where is my child? There are probably no adequate words for it. I certainly don't have any. They are met with humility and humanity, and sometimes you're speechless. Then it's just a glance or a hug from your mother. That's what I did as a politician. There is no political answer to something like that. It's only between people. We are trying to manage this crisis as best we can. We go to the affected people to tell them that we're there for them, that our teams are really doing everything they can. We are beginning to realize that it is very, very bad. We are very, very scared. The days when Jeremy is asleep are the most terrible days, because you know that anything can happen. It's about controlling the airways, so you imagine every little problem. That was a huge worry. We took turns. We hardly left him alone.
Kaum allein gelassen.
He is having trouble breathing. They have to lay him on his stomach. At this point, a few days later, we're in the waiting room, and I am once again very upset. I even explode and punch the wall with my fist, because I can no longer stand this back and forth, the knowledge that my brother is unwell. I'm assuming the sound is good. Can someone give me a thumbs up? Can someone give me a thumbs up that the sound is good? Thank you. I hope it's working with me reading. I thought this was a really good, profound program. The international pressure is increasing. The federal consular responsible for justice goes to the scene of the incident, a symbolic act. He is escorted inside to the scene of the tragedy, watched by cameras from all over the world. In French, it's shocking, it's emotional. It is an emotion that affects the whole of Switzerland. The population of our country is deeply saddened. Gradually, the identities, especially the ages of the victims, are revealed. Yes, you know, I'm also a father of teenagers. Perhaps all parents in this country think those could have been my children. They experience a moment of joy and then die at the end. It is our responsibility to learn from this and do everything we can to ensure that something like this never happens again. An investigation is launched against the two owners, Jessica and Jacques Moretti, but they remain at large. The lack of decisiveness of the Valais judiciary is increasingly criticized, while the list of possible failures grows ever longer. Today we learn that there's an investigation against the operators of the bar. Is the anger growing? In the face of such a tragedy, there can only be sadness and anger. Very strong feelings. We are all overwhelmed by these feelings and emotions. Those of us in positions of responsibility must do everything we can, keep a cool head, which is not easy, and make the fairest possible decisions over time. When you entered the tent where the horror took place, you saw terrible things. Bijans did not. What did you tell him? I didn't tell him these things. The police teams did. They explained what had happened and what their work consisted of in an objective manner so that he becomes aware of what has happened. I believe that he was obviously overwhelmed by emotions at that moment. Yes, there are images that one doesn't forget. 4 days after the tragedy, all victims have been identified and their bodies handed over to their relatives. 40 people have died in less than 1 minute. The youngest victims are 14 years old. The following day, the municipal authorities of Crans-Montana admitted that no security checks have been carried out at the bar since 2019. Xavier, like many other parents, filed a complaint. This tragedy is all the more difficult for him because he grew up in Crans-Montana. All the people involved at the political level and in the fire department, for example, are all acquaintances, friends from childhood. It is therefore even less easy to deal with this anger because everyone is extremely affected by it. And then we let the investigations and proceedings take its course. Then we'll see what is done. Then those in charge should take responsibility with the consequences that this will have for each of them. Layla and Alan have lost count of how many times they've gone from their home, from Galan to somewhere for their third daughters at school. These journeys will thankfully, Farah has just been transferred to the rehabilitation clinic in Sion. They don't know where they will be able to resume their work. Their expenses are piling up. The money promised by the state of Alai, 10,000 francs per victim, is very welcome. It will help us pay the initial costs. Transportation or eating out, because you can imagine that I don't think there are many mothers who are currently standing behind the stove. We have neither the strength nor the energy for that. All our energy is focused on our children. What do you expect from the justice system? A great deal, she says. Beaucoup. Beaucoup. We want to find the culprits because it's not just about the bar owners, but also about other people. I will not let go of anything at all. I will not give up for my children. The circumstances of this tragedy and the responsibilities, including those of the political authorities, must be fully investigated. Justice must be administered rigorously and independently. The least we can do is apologize on behalf of the entire community. For those of you that don't know, this is Jessica Moretti leaves the public prosecutor's office alone. Her husband is taken into custody. His release 2 weeks later will cause pain to the families and provoke the anger of the Italian authorities. January 17th, 2026. A little over 2 weeks after this happened in that place. Now, this was pretty incredible. Lionel and Thomas are in Crans, Montana for the first time in their lives. They came to collect Matthew's belongings from the apartment rented by the Moretti couple. Families of other Constellation employees are also present. Oh, wow. The apartment is located above the bar. To open it, they have to call Matthew, who has now been extubated and can only articulate himself with difficulty. The 2 keys you confirm are for opening the apartment. They're suitable for any castle for both locks. Wait. This is an upside down lock, not like in France. Listen, we'll try. Don't bother. Good grief. I just can't even imagine. I need to find out if he's still doing okay, Matthew and the other ones. Thank you. When I arrived, the mere sight of the building captivated me. Seeing where they lived, seeing all that soot, that carnage, simply everything. I don't know if there are other words to describe what you see there. And one more thing. We didn't go to La Constellation and we won't be going in. But I needed it to see what was going on, where it happened, to understand this catastrophe a little bit. I can't imagine that there are too many stolen lives. There are so many battered bodies in all of this. Too much hope burned in these flames. It's not normal, all this youth that has been stolen. He arrived here alive, full of life. We want to bring it back to him. The smell in his room is very strong at the moment. It smells strongly of burns. Rust can be seen everywhere, but at the moment I'm not that emotional yet because I think I need to see the bar and the mausoleum first. We brought flowers and a candle, and I will feel the need to collect myself. The time for justice has come for them too. To accompany them on their journey, they have hired a lawyer in France and another in Switzerland. We know it will take a long time, a very long time, but there are families who are grieving, families whose children were seriously injured and will be affected for the rest of their lives. Others are less severely affected. In a way, we are lucky to be one of these families. Even though Matthew's injuries are very serious, but it also involves a long wait. I don't really feel anger or a desire for revenge. I think some people have failed. These people must also have the courage to say, we have failed and we will pay for it. How is Matthew doing now? It's complicated. He is feeling better. He is doing much better considering the circumstances, but it's still very difficult. He is a young man in the body of a 90-year-old man. He is someone who can barely speak because he's completely out of breath every time he says a word. Letitia is aware of her good fortune and knows that she must learn to live with the traumatic images, just like all the other young people who experienced that evening. I know I was very lucky to have gotten away with almost nothing. That's why I'm truly grateful for the luck I've had compared to others who have severe burns or worse. It is also important for me to draw the attention of other young people and other people to the seriousness of the situation. They enter an empty house. That's how I experience it. The reason why I no longer want to go into my house. My daughter's 3 rooms are closed. I lock the house myself. I don't want to see it, my house. I prefer to sleep somewhere else. Because they are not there. We think he's out of the woods. So it's simply extraordinary. It's like this. You always try to prepare for the possibility that it might happen, but you're never truly prepared. And then he's there. So one is aware of how lucky one still was. They weep softly, it says. Aww. I'm behind my iPad. I can't see comments at all this whole time, you guys, just so you know. You're not being ignored. I'm facing the screen behind my other iPad so I can read it. If you still care about the people in Switzerland that have gone through this, give me a like, would you? Okay, so this Swiss services. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. If you hear screaming, it's children playing. I'm like, why is it so dark? I can't even think. Hi, you guys. Say hi to the chat. I'll go back as far as I can. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so 3 rooms, meaning their third daughter. That woman's third daughter is in college somewhere else, so her room's closed, and then the 2 burn victims, but one is healed much quicker than the other one. Hi, Martin. Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello. It reminds you of a fire that happened back in the 90s. Yeah, stampedes are so scary in these situations when people go running, they run on top of people. Yeah, when I watched Fiddlesticks, thanks you guys. When I watched this, I was like, oh, she must have just gotten out, or whatever. I had no idea she was being clamored on top of, and she's incredibly lucky to survive. So, yeah. See, it's like, oh, I thought she was saying that the one child had 3 rooms. I was thinking some are lucky to have 1 room. Oh, okay, yeah. See, this is what I mean. Like, I mean, I'm not saying people don't care, but I have 6 watching from the bushes, and this is the problem with society. I mean, people are busy and other creators are going. I shouldn't assume people don't care, but until your daughter gets burned, right, or your son, or whatever, car accident, shooting, whatever, people are getting desensitized. It seems like to me, anyway. So it's very sad, and I'm literally looking at this iPad, and it's almost like a mirror. But you guys, I'm gonna go um, because I said hi to all of you. I believe I wanted to. Whoops! I don't know why I hit that twice. Um, I wanted to say hello. I wanted you to see my face, so because the last few days I've just been putting in my input or whatever of the Guthrie case. Every day that goes by, it's looking worse. And it's just so unfair, that someone can have children and be living, and then their life has to be taken like that. It's all of this is sort of, not sort of, but it's making my mom's passing of natural causes or hospice, whatever, much more bearable. I mean, I'm not in anguish of sadness because she's not missing. Do you know what I mean? Like, thank God. So, but she did pass on February 10th, and today's what, the 6th? So it'll be a year and 4 more days. And when I say I don't know where she's buried or if she was cremated, I really don't, because at this point, and probably forever, because he isn't really reaching out to me either. Her husband and I aren't speaking. And that's in other videos. I didn't like the way he treated me on the phone when she was in and out of consciousness. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, I understand he was probably angry she was dying and wondering what he's going to do and who's going to take care of him and all that. But the good thing is, my mom's brother lives in a little trailer right there, like right in their driveway practically. So he's not alone, right? They'll be able to eat dinner and talk to each other, and they were close anyway. And I don't know. My one of my mom's sisters, in fact, the only one that's still alive, I certainly won't say her name, but there was a time when she wasn't treating my mom really that nice. It was the whole Trump thing and all that. And I mean, it was so bad that I said to Mom, how can you even talk to her? And she said, I don't know. She's really kind of losing it. That's what she said. And then that woman, she's my aunt, but I mean, I've only seen her like 4 times in my whole life, called me and just wants to talk. No, I'm not going to be, I'm just not. I'm not going to be people's soundboards or whatever you want to call it. I don't need people reaching out to me now. It's a little too late. And in all honesty, it's like if they really cared about me, they would have reached out before. So I think they just want to grieve with someone, find someone. Well, it's not going to be me. So, am I being a little selfish or very selfish? Probably, yes. But am I close to my aunts and uncles? No. Barely saw them at all. You know, and yeah. So, and I nearly forget that my sister's passed because this month is February and I've been focusing on my mom. My sister's gone too, my one and only. I have a half brother who I've met once when him and my dad came here. He had never seen the ocean before, from Iowa, and they flew here, and he was 12 then, and my son was 6. And then another time the very first time I saw him, he was about 4, and I think I was 19 or something like that, and that was way back. And then and that's it. Those are the only times I've seen Noah. Is that crazy? And now he's what, in his 30s, and he lives in Wisconsin somewhere. And so, you know, I could reach out to him too, but well, why would I do that though? It's like I guess because of our father, but Dad's been passed away for a good 5 years, and it's just, you know, people don't, when you don't really know them, you know, your relatives, they don't want you to just reach out later on. I mean, maybe a woman does, but not a man that has his life and his kids and, you know, this kind of thing. So anyway, prayers to anybody that needs them, and please hit the like if you're willing to. Please subscribe to me and help me inch my way to 5,000. I know it's a good big stretch of like 800 more or something, but I'll get there someday. And yeah. So if I missed your question or your comment, I'm going to go because I think it's getting closer to dinner time here, and I've got to make some food. But yesterday I did not feel well enough to do a live. I hope you guys got something out of that. And I mean, in all honesty, the 9/11 thing was horrific, right? Even more people died, and we'll never forget that. I don't think we should ever forget the danger of these, you know, lit champagne bottles. They're all over the place, and just plain pyrotechnics, and the horrible fire in Rhode Island, and I think it was 2006, from that Great White band, where 80 people died the same way trying to get out of one entrance. I've seen videos, and yeah, horrific. So know where your exits are, and if you sense danger, just get out immediately. I mean, she immediately got out. If she had pulled her phone and waited for someone to come to that Constellation bar and put out the fire, she probably wouldn't have made it, you know. But her senses kicked in, you know. Don't take pictures of every cotton picking thing out there. It's another reason I have a flip phone. I don't want to be one of these people that just film absolutely everything all the time. And ice out Minnesota. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, get out. That's how I feel about it. And all the other cities that they're tormenting people in. I mean, okay, get get the criminals, get the people that aren't supposed to be there, but if they're having due process or in asylum, leave them there and let them do what they need to do. But no, they're snatching up anybody and everybody with dark skin, light skin, brown skin. And if they're not snatching them up, they're pulling them over. And it's profiling. And it's wrong and illegal. And this stuff makes me sick. And apparently, on Trump's site, it was on the news. Obviously, I'm not a Trumpster like many. He allegedly is a racist because he was calling Obama an ape. So what is it? He's not racist to only the powerful people, right, that work for him and that are out there with dark skin, or a woman giving him the Nobel, Peace Prize, but all the rest can just go away. And I saw a thing on Elon Musk's father, who literally feels, because he's in Africa, that dark-skinned people are taking over Africa, taking over. And it's his views and values of life and humanity that have been pushed onto his son, Elon. Now I get more of an idea of why Elon is the way he is. I know what I saw when he was standing up there. I know I saw what is it? This kind of thing. What you see with your eyes is usually pretty factual. All right, enough of all that. Bye, everybody. I hope I see you tomorrow.